My name is Clara Whitmore. I'm 34 years old. 3 months ago, the military told me my husband had died during a mission. The moment I heard those words, it felt like my entire world collapsed. Since that day, I cried for him almost every night. I tried to be strong. I tried to accept that he was gone. But the truth is, a part of me refused to believe it. Then, one afternoon, my sister suddenly called me. Her voice was shaking. "Olivia, come to my house right now. There's something you need to see." And when I finally saw it, my whole body went cold. Before I tell you what actually happened, please like and subscribe to the channel and tell me your country in the comments. Now, let's begin. 3 months ago, the military told me my husband had died during a mission. Those words still echoed in my mind every single day. My husband Daniel had been a soldier for almost 10 years. He was brave, disciplined, and deeply loyal to his country. But to me, he was simply the man who made my world feel safe. The day the officers came to my door, everything changed. 2 men in uniform stood outside my house. The moment I saw them, my heart dropped. Somehow, I already knew what they were about to say. They spoke carefully, respectfully. They told me Daniel had been sent on a dangerous mission overseas with a small military team. The mission had failed. There had been an explosion, and according to the report, no one survived. For a moment, I couldn't even breathe. It felt like the ground had disappeared under my feet. I remember grabbing the edge of the table just to stay standing. The officers kept talking, explaining things about honor, sacrifice, and bravery, but honestly, I barely heard anything after the words, "he didn't survive." After they left, the house felt unbearably quiet, too quiet. Daniel's jacket was still hanging near the door. His coffee mug was still sitting in the kitchen. Everything in the house still looked exactly the same, except he was gone. The first few nights were the hardest. I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, memories of Daniel filled my mind. The way he laughed, the way he used to hug me before leaving for duty, the way he always promised, "I'll come back." But this time, he hadn't. At least, that's what everyone believed. Weeks passed. Friends and relatives came to comfort me. They brought food, flowers, and long conversations about how strong I needed to be. But when the house became quiet again, the loneliness returned. At night, I often sat alone in the living room, staring at old photos of Daniel on my phone. Sometimes I even listened to his old voice messages just to hear his voice again. Some nights, I cried until morning. I tried to convince myself that I needed to move forward, that Daniel would want me to be strong, but moving forward without him felt impossible. 3 months passed like this, slow, painful days that all felt the same. Then one afternoon, something unexpected happened. I was sitting on the couch, quietly drinking tea, when my phone suddenly rang. It was my younger sister, Lily. Normally, Lily was cheerful and talkative, but the moment I answered the call, I noticed something strange. Her voice sounded tense, almost nervous. "Clara," she said quickly, "where are you right now?" "At home," I replied. There was a short pause. Then she said something that immediately made my heart beat faster. "Clara, can you come to my house right now?" Her voice was shaking slightly. "There's something I need to show you." I frowned. "What is it?" I asked, but she didn't answer directly. "Just come," she said. "It's important." Something in her tone made me uneasy. Lily wasn't the kind of person who acted mysterious. If something was wrong, she usually said it immediately. But today, she sounded different, serious, almost shocked. My mind started racing with questions. Was something wrong with our parents? Did something happen to someone in the family? "Lily," I said again, "you're scaring me. What's going on?" Another short silence. Then she said quietly, "I can't explain it on the phone. You just need to see it yourself." Those words made a strange feeling grow inside my chest, a mix of confusion and worry. "Okay," I finally said, "I'm coming." Her house was only 15 minutes away from mine, but the drive felt much longer. The entire time, my mind kept trying to guess what was happening, but nothing made sense. When I finally pulled into Lily's driveway, I noticed something unusual. She was already standing outside the front door, waiting for me. The moment she saw my car, she quickly walked toward me. Her face looked pale and her eyes looked wide with shock. That alone made my heart start pounding. "What's wrong?" I asked as soon as I stepped out of the car. She didn't answer immediately. Instead, she grabbed my hand and gently pulled me toward the house. "Just come inside," she said. We walked into the living room. Then Lily picked up her phone from the table. She held it tightly for a moment, like she was trying to prepare herself. Then she slowly turned the screen toward me. "Clara," she said quietly, "you need to look at this." And the moment my eyes landed on the photo on her phone, my entire body went cold. For a few seconds, I couldn't move. My eyes stayed locked on the screen. The man in the photo looked exactly like Daniel. Same face, same eyes, even the small scar near his eyebrow that he got during military training years ago. My hands started shaking. That can't be possible," I whispered. My voice felt weak and distant. "The military told me my husband was dead. They said no one survived that mission, but the man in this photo was Daniel." Lily sat beside me, watching my reaction carefully. "I know what you're thinking," she said softly. "I thought the same thing when I first saw it." She zoomed in on the picture. The photo showed Daniel sitting outside a small house. Behind him were mountains and a quiet road. He looked thinner than before. His beard had grown longer, and there were bandages visible near his shoulder. But it was him. There was no doubt in my mind. My heart started pounding again. "How did you find this?" I asked. "One of my friends shared this post earlier today," Lily explained. "At first, I didn't notice anything, but when I looked again, the man looked familiar." She paused. "Then I realized he looks exactly like Daniel." I stared at the screen again. Under the photo, there was a short message. It said the man had been found badly injured near the border after a military operation months ago. A local family had taken him in and helped him recover. My chest tightened. "So he survived," I whispered. Lily nodded slowly. "That's what it looks like." For a moment, I couldn't know what to feel. Hope, shock, or fear, all of it mixed together. If Daniel was really alive, then the last 3 months of grief suddenly felt unreal. "But why didn't he contact me?" I asked quietly. "I don't know," Lily replied. "Maybe he didn't have a phone, maybe he was too injured." I stared at the screen again. The page belonged to a small clinic near the border. The post had been uploaded just 2 days ago, which meant Daniel had probably been there for some time without anyone knowing. "We need to contact them," I said suddenly. Lily nodded. "I already tried sending a message earlier," she said. "You did?" I asked, surprised. She handed me the phone. "Look." She had sent a message asking about the injured soldier in the photo, but there had been no reply yet. My heart was pounding now. I quickly typed another message. I explained who I was. I told them Daniel was my husband and that the military had reported him dead. Then we waited. Minutes passed, no answer. I tried calling the phone number listed on the page. The line rang, but no one answered. Lily tried again, still nothing. The waiting felt unbearable. Every second felt like an hour. "What if it's really him?" I whispered. "What if Daniel is alive somewhere out there and he thinks I don't know?" Lily squeezed my hand. "Then we'll find him," she said firmly. "We won't stop until we know the truth." Almost an hour passed. Then suddenly, a message notification appeared. Both of us froze. Lily quickly opened it. The message was from the clinic. It read, "Yes, the soldier in the photo was found injured after a military mission several months ago. He had multiple gunshot wounds and severe injuries. A local family brought him to us for treatment." My heart skipped a beat. Daniel had been alive this entire time. The message continued, "He is now stable and recovering well. The family who helped him have been taking care of him during his recovery." Tears filled my eyes. For 3 months, I believed my husband was gone forever, but somehow he had survived. Clara, Lily said softly, this means he's really alive. I wiped my tears, trying to breathe. Where exactly are they? I asked. The clinic had sent their location in the message. It was in a small town across the border, several hours away by plane. I stared at the address on the screen. My heart was racing again. 3 months ago, I had buried my husband in my mind. Now there was a chance he was still alive. I'm going there, I said firmly. Lily looked at me. You mean now? Yes, I replied. I have to see him with my own eyes. Without another word, Lily nodded. Then I'm coming with you. For the first time in months, I felt something different inside my chest. Not grief, not emptiness, but hope. Because somewhere in that distant town, my husband might still be alive. And very soon, I was going to find out the truth. The next 2 days felt like the longest days of my life. Lily and I booked the earliest flight we could find. I barely slept that night. My mind was filled with thousands of thoughts. What if the man in the photo wasn't really Daniel? What if something had changed? What if I finally saw him again after believing he was gone forever? My heart couldn't stop racing. The next morning, we boarded the plane. During the entire flight, I kept staring out of the window silently, praying. 3 months ago, I had accepted that my husband was gone forever. Now there was a chance I was about to see him again. When the plane finally landed, we immediately took a car toward the small town the clinic had sent us. The road was long and quiet. The mountains surrounded the area. It looked peaceful, almost too peaceful for a place connected to so much pain. After nearly an hour, the car finally stopped in front of a small medical clinic. My hands were shaking again. This is it, Lily said softly. For a moment, I just sat there in silence. My heart was beating so fast it almost hurt. Then I slowly opened the car door. We walked toward the entrance. Inside, the clinic looked simple but clean. A nurse greeted us and asked our names. When I told her why we were there, she nodded gently. Yes, she said, we know about your message. Then she pointed toward the back of the building. He's outside. My entire body froze. Outside. That meant he was right there, just a few steps away. I slowly walked toward the door. Every step felt heavy. My heart was pounding so loudly, I thought everyone could hear it. Then I pushed the door open. Behind the clinic was a small garden, and sitting on a wooden bench was a man. For a moment, the world around me disappeared. It was Daniel. He looked thinner than before. There were still faint scars near his shoulder and neck, but it was him alive, breathing, sitting right in front of me. Tears instantly filled my eyes. Daniel, I whispered. The sound of his name coming from my lips after 3 months felt unreal. He turned his head slowly. His eyes met mine. The moment I saw his face clearly, the tears I had been holding back for months finally broke free. I ran toward him. Daniel! I couldn't stop crying. My entire body was shaking as I stood in front of him. For months, I had imagined this moment of seeing him again, touching him again, knowing he was alive. But instead of smiling, Daniel looked confused. He stood up slowly. His eyes studied my face carefully. Then he said something that made my heart stop. I'm sorry. His voice was calm but uncertain. Do I know you? For a second, I thought I had heard him wrong. My tears kept falling. Daniel, it's me, I said softly, but he still looked confused. Why are you crying? He asked gently. Did something happen? Those words hit me like a wave. He didn't recognize me. Later, the doctor explained what had happened. He told me that during the mission, Daniel had been badly injured, and the shock from the explosion and blood loss had affected his memory. That was why he couldn't recognize many things from his past, including me. Hearing that felt like another heartbreak. For 3 months, I believed my husband was dead. Now I had finally found him again, but he couldn't remember our life together. The doctor told me something important. Sometimes memory like this can slowly return if the person is surrounded by familiar people, places, and memories from the past. So I decided to try everything I could. Because I had already lost him once, I wasn't going to lose him again. Every day I spent time with him. I told him stories about our life together, how we met, how he proposed to me, our wedding day, the small jokes we used to laugh about. Sometimes I showed him old photos on my phone. Sometimes I took him to places that were special to us. But days passed, then weeks passed, and nothing changed. Daniel was always kind to me. He listened patiently, but his eyes still looked at me like I was a stranger. That quiet pain stayed in my heart every single day. Then, one evening, about a month later, I decided to try something different. I took Daniel to the small park where we had first met years ago. It was a simple place, with a few trees and a wooden bench, the same bench where we had talked for hours the first day we met. We sat there quietly. The sunset painted the sky orange and gold. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then, slowly, I began to sing. It was the song Daniel used to love, the song we always sang together during long car rides, the song he once sang to me on our anniversary. My voice was soft and trembling. The memories behind that song were too strong. Daniel sat beside me in silence. At first, he just listened, but after a few seconds, I noticed something strange. He was staring at me, not like before. This time, something in his eyes had changed. His expression slowly became serious, then confused, and suddenly his eyes filled with tears. My heart skipped a beat. He kept staring at me for a long moment. Then, finally, in a quiet, shaky voice, he said my name, Clara. For a second, I couldn't breathe. It was the first time he had said my name since I found him. Tears instantly rushed down my face. Daniel, I whispered. The next moment, he stood up and pulled me into a tight hug. We both started crying, not quiet tears, but the kind of tears that come from months of pain, fear, and hope finally breaking free. He held me tightly, like he never wanted to let go again. And in that moment, I knew something for sure. I had almost lost my husband forever, but somehow love had found its way back to him, and this time we were finally together again.